The rabbit sends in a little bill.
Кролик засылает маленького Билла.
The rabbit sends in a little bill. It was the white rabbit trotting slowly back again.
Это был белый кролик, медленно возвращаясь.
It was the white rabbit trotting slowly back again. And looking anxiously about as it went.
И с тревогой оглядываясь.
And looking anxiously about as it went. As if it was looking for something.
Как будто что-то искал.
As if it was looking for something. And she heard it muttering to itself.
И она услышала, как он бормочет.
And she heard it muttering to itself. The Duchess, oh my poor paws.
Герцогиня, герцогиня, ах, мои бедные лапы.
The Duchess, oh my poor paws. Oh my fur and whiskers.
Ах, мой мех и усы.
Oh my fur and whiskers. She'll give the order to execute me, I'm sure.
Она прикажет казнить меня, я уверен.
She'll give the order to execute me, I'm sure. Where can they be, I wonder?
Интересно, где они могут быть?
Where can they be, I wonder? Alice guessed in a moment.
Алиса догадалась.
Alice guessed in a moment. That the rabbit was looking for the fan and the pair of white gloves.
Что кролик ищет веер и пару белых перчаток.
That the rabbit was looking for the fan and the pair of white gloves. And she began looking for them, too.
И она тоже начала их искать.
And she began looking for them, too. But they were nowhere in sight.
Но их нигде не было видно.
But they were nowhere in sight. Even the great hall, with the glass table.
Даже большой зал со стеклянным столом.
Even the great hall, with the glass table. And the little door, disappeared completely.
И маленькой дверью полностью исчез.
And the little door, disappeared completely. Very soon the rabbit noticed Alice.
Вскоре кролик заметил Алису.
Very soon the rabbit noticed Alice. And called out to her in an angry tone.
И злобно крикнул ей.
And called out to her in an angry tone. Mary Ann, what are you doing here?
Мэри Энн, что ты здесь делаешь?
Mary Ann, what are you doing here? Run home this moment, and bring me a pair of gloves and a fan.
Беги домой сейчас же и принеси мне пару перчаток и веер.
Run home this moment, and bring me a pair of gloves and a fan. Quick, now.
Быстрее сейчас же.
Quick, now. It frightened Alice.
Это напугало Алису.
It frightened Alice. And she ran off at once in the direction it pointed to.
И она сразу же побежала в указанном направлении.
And she ran off at once in the direction it pointed to. Without trying to explain the mistake.
Не пытаясь объяснить ошибку.
Without trying to explain the mistake. He took me for his housemaid.
Он принял меня за свою горничную.
He took me for his housemaid. She said to herself as she ran.
Подумала она, когда бежала.
She said to herself as she ran. How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I am.
Как он удивится, когда узнает, кто я.
How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I am. But I'll bring him his fan and gloves.
Но я принесу ему его веер и перчатки.
But I'll bring him his fan and gloves. I hope I will find them.
Я надеюсь, что найду их.
I hope I will find them. As she said this, she came upon a neat little house.
Когда она сказала это, она наткнулась на аккуратный домик.
As she said this, she came upon a neat little house. On the door of which was a bright brass plate with the name W. Rabbit upon it.
На двери которого была яркая медная табличка с надписью «Б. Кролик».
On the door of which was a bright brass plate with the name W. Rabbit upon it. She went in without knocking and hurried upstairs.
Она вошла без стука и поспешила наверх.
She went in without knocking and hurried upstairs. She was afraid to meet the real Mary Ann.
Она боялась встретить настоящую Мэри Энн.
She was afraid to meet the real Mary Ann. How strange it seems, Alice said to herself.
Как странно, подумала Алиса.
How strange it seems, Alice said to herself. To have orders from a rabbit.
Получать приказы от кролика.
To have orders from a rabbit. I believe Dinah'll be giving me orders next.
Я верю, что Дина следующий будет отдавать мне приказы.
I believe Dinah'll be giving me orders next. I can imagine it.
Я могу представить это.
I can imagine it. Miss Alice, come here directly and get ready for your walk.
Мисс Алиса, иди сюда и приготовься к прогулке.
Miss Alice, come here directly and get ready for your walk. Coming in a minute, nurse.
Через минуту, няня.
Coming in a minute, nurse. But now I must see that the mouse doesn't get out.
Но я должна убедиться, что мышь не вылезет.
But now I must see that the mouse doesn't get out. Only I don't think, Alice went on.
Только я не думаю, продолжила Алиса.
Only I don't think, Alice went on. That Dinah would stay in the house after it.
Что Дина останется в доме после этого.
That Dinah would stay in the house after it. Soon she found her way.
Вскоре она нашла путь.
Soon she found her way. Into a tidy little room with a table near the window.
В аккуратную маленькую комнату со столом возле окна.
Into a tidy little room with a table near the window. And on the table she saw a fan.
И на столе она увидела веер.
And on the table she saw a fan. And 2 or 3 pairs of little white gloves.
И 2 или 3 пары маленьких белых перчаток.
And 2 or 3 pairs of little white gloves. She took up the fan and a pair of the gloves.
Она взяла веер, пару перчаток.
She took up the fan and a pair of the gloves. And was just going to leave the room.
И собралась покинуть комнату.
And was just going to leave the room. When she saw a little bottle.
И тут увидела маленькую бутылочку.
When she saw a little bottle. That stood near the looking glass.
Стоявшую рядом с зеркалом.
That stood near the looking glass. There was no label this time with the words "Drink me."
На этот раз не было этикетки «Выпей меня».
There was no label this time with the words "Drink me." But she uncorked it and put it to her lips.
Но она откупорила его и поднесла к губам.
But she uncorked it and put it to her lips. I know something interesting is sure to happen.
Я знаю, что-то интересное обязательно произойдет.
I know something interesting is sure to happen. She said to herself.
Подумала она.
She said to herself. Whenever I eat or drink anything.
Всякий раз, когда я ем или пью что-нибудь.
Whenever I eat or drink anything. So I'll just see what this bottle does.
Так что я просто посмотрю, что будет.
So I'll just see what this bottle does. I hope it'll make me grow large again.
Я надеюсь, что это снова позволит мне вырасти.
I hope it'll make me grow large again. Because I'm quite tired of being such a little girl.
Потому что я устала быть маленькой девочкой.
Because I'm quite tired of being such a little girl. It did so indeed, and as she was still drinking.
Это действительно так, и поскольку она все еще пила.
It did so indeed, and as she was still drinking. She found her head pressing against the ceiling.
Она поняла, что головой уперлась в потолок.
She found her head pressing against the ceiling. And had to stop not to break her neck.
И ей пришлось наклониться, чтобы не сломать шею.
And had to stop not to break her neck. She put down the bottle hastily, saying to herself.
Она поспешно поставила бутылку, подумав.
She put down the bottle hastily, saying to herself. That's quite enough, more than enough.
Этого вполне достаточно, более чем достаточно.
That's quite enough, more than enough. I hope I won't grow anymore.
Я надеюсь, что я больше не буду расти.
I hope I won't grow anymore. But now I can't get out of the room.
Но теперь я не могу выйти из комнаты.
But now I can't get out of the room. She went on growing and growing.
Она продолжала расти и расти.
She went on growing and growing. And very soon had to kneel down on the floor.
И очень скоро ей пришлось встать на колени на пол.
And very soon had to kneel down on the floor. In another minute there was not even room for this.
В следующую минуту для этого не было даже места.
In another minute there was not even room for this. And she tried the effect of lying down with one elbow against the door.
И она попробовала лечь одним локтем к двери.
And she tried the effect of lying down with one elbow against the door. And the other arm curled round her head.
А другой рукой свернулась вокруг головы.
And the other arm curled round her head. Still she went on growing.
Тем не менее, она продолжала расти.
Still she went on growing. And, as a last resource, she put one arm out of the window.
И последней возможностью было вытащить одну руку из окна.
And, as a last resource, she put one arm out of the window. And one foot up the chimney, and said to herself.
Одну ногу вверх по дымоходу и подумала.
And one foot up the chimney, and said to herself. Now I can do no more, whatever happens.
Теперь я не могу двигаться, чтобы не случилось.
Now I can do no more, whatever happens. What will become of me?
Что со мной будет?
What will become of me? Luckily for Alice, she grew no larger.
К счастью для Алисы, она больше не росла.
Luckily for Alice, she grew no larger. Still it was very uncomfortable.
Тем не менее, это было весьма неудобно.
Still it was very uncomfortable. And there seemed to be no chance to get out of the room again.
И казалось, не было никакого шанса выйти из комнаты вновь.
And there seemed to be no chance to get out of the room again. She felt very unhappy.
Она была несчастна.
She felt very unhappy. Was much better at home, thought poor Alice.
Дома было намного лучше, подумала бедная Алиса.
Was much better at home, thought poor Alice. When one wasn't always growing larger and smaller.
Когда кто-то не становился больше и меньше.
When one wasn't always growing larger and smaller. And taking orders from mice and rabbits.
И не получал приказы от мышей и кроликов.
And taking orders from mice and rabbits. Why did I jump down that rabbit hole?
Зачем я прыгнула в эту кроличью нору?
Why did I jump down that rabbit hole? And yet, it's so curious.
И все же, это так любопытно.
And yet, it's so curious. You know, this sort of life.
Вы знаете, такова жизнь.
You know, this sort of life. While reading fairy tales.
Читая сказки.
While reading fairy tales. I thought that kind of thing never happened.
Я думала, что такого не бывает.
I thought that kind of thing never happened. And now here I am in the middle of one.
И вот я здесь, в самой гуще.
And now here I am in the middle of one. They will write a book about me.
Про меня напишут книгу.
They will write a book about me. I'm sure they will.
Я уверена в этом.
I'm sure they will. And when I grow up, I'll write one.
А когда я вырасту, я напишу одну.
And when I grow up, I'll write one. But I'm grown up now, she added sadly.
Но я уже выросла, грустно добавила она.
But I'm grown up now, she added sadly. At least there's no room to grow up anymore here.
По крайней мере, больше нет места, чтобы расти.
At least there's no room to grow up anymore here. But then, thought Alice.
Но тогда, подумала Алиса.
But then, thought Alice. Will I never get any older than I am now?
Я никогда не стану старше, чем сейчас.
Will I never get any older than I am now? That'll be a comfort, never to be an old woman.
Это будет утешением, никогда не быть старухой.
That'll be a comfort, never to be an old woman. But then, always to have lessons to learn.
Но с другой стороны, всегда учиться.
But then, always to have lessons to learn. Oh, I don't like that.
Ах, мне это не нравится.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh, you stupid Alice. She answered herself.
Ах ты, глупая Алиса, ответила она себе.
Oh, you stupid Alice. She answered herself. How can you learn lessons here?
Как ты можешь учиться здесь?
How can you learn lessons here? There's hardly room for you.
Тебе вряд ли хватит места.
There's hardly room for you. And no room at all for any books.
И вообще не будет места для книг.
And no room at all for any books. And so she went on.
И она продолжала.
And so she went on. Taking first one side and then the other.
Беря сначала одну сторону, а затем другую.
Taking first one side and then the other. And making quite a conversation of it all together.
И в целом обсуждала это.
And making quite a conversation of it all together. But after a few minutes she heard a voice outside.
Но через несколько минут она услышала голос снаружи.
But after a few minutes she heard a voice outside. And stopped to listen.
И притихла, чтобы слушать.
And stopped to listen. Marianne, Marianne, said the voice.
Мэриэн, Мэриэн, сказал голос.
Marianne, Marianne, said the voice. Bring me my gloves this moment.
Принеси мне мои перчатки сейчас же.
Bring me my gloves this moment. Then came a soft pattering of feet on the stairs.
Затем раздалась легкая поступь на лестнице.
Then came a soft pattering of feet on the stairs. Alice knew it was the rabbit coming to look for her.
Алиса знала, что ее ищет кролик.
Alice knew it was the rabbit coming to look for her. And she trembled so that she shook the house.
И она задрожала, сотрясая дом.
And she trembled so that she shook the house. Quite forgetting that she was now about 1,000 times bigger than the rabbit.
Совершенно забыв, что теперь она примерно в 1000 раз больше кролика.
Quite forgetting that she was now about 1,000 times bigger than the rabbit. And had no reason to be afraid of it.
И у нее не было причин бояться его.
And had no reason to be afraid of it. Soon the rabbit came up to the door, and tried to open it.
Вскоре кролик подошел к двери и попытался открыть.
Soon the rabbit came up to the door, and tried to open it. But the door opened inwards.
Но дверь открывалась внутрь.
But the door opened inwards. And Alice had to press her elbow hard against it.
А Алисе пришлось прижаться локтем к нему.
And Alice had to press her elbow hard against it. So he failed to do it.
Поэтому он не смог этого сделать.
So he failed to do it. Alice heard it say to itself.
Алиса слышала, как он сказал про себя.
Alice heard it say to itself. Then I'll go round and get in at the window.
Тогда я пойду и зайду в окно.
Then I'll go round and get in at the window. No, you won't, thought Alice.
Нет, не зайдешь, подумала Алиса.
No, you won't, thought Alice. And, after waiting till she thought.
И подождала, пока думала.
And, after waiting till she thought. She heard the rabbit just under the window.
Что услышала кролика прямо под окном.
She heard the rabbit just under the window. She suddenly spread out her hand, and tried to snatch it.
Она внезапно развела руки и попыталась схватить его.
She suddenly spread out her hand, and tried to snatch it. She did not catch anything.
Она ничего не поймала.
She did not catch anything. But she heard a shriek and a fall, and a crash of broken glass.
Но услышала крик, падение и разбитое стекло.
But she heard a shriek and a fall, and a crash of broken glass. It fell into a cucumber frame.
Он упал в огуречную катку.
It fell into a cucumber frame. Or something of the sort, I believe, Alice thought.
Или что-то в этом роде, подумала Алиса.
Or something of the sort, I believe, Alice thought. Next came an angry voice, the rabbit's.
Затем раздался злой голос, кролик.
Next came an angry voice, the rabbit's. Pat, Pat, where are you?
Пэт, Пэт, ты где?
Pat, Pat, where are you? And then a new voice answered.
И тогда новый голос ответил.
And then a new voice answered. I'm here, digging for apples, Your Honor.
Я здесь, рою для яблонь, Ваша честь.
I'm here, digging for apples, Your Honor. Digging for apples, indeed, said the rabbit angrily.
Роешь для яблонь, сказал кролик сердито.
Digging for apples, indeed, said the rabbit angrily. Here, come and help me get out of this.
Вот, приди и помоги мне выйти.
Here, come and help me get out of this. Sounds of more broken glass.
Звучит еще больше битого стекла.
Sounds of more broken glass. Now tell me, Pat, what's that in the window?
Теперь скажи мне, Пэт, что это за окно?
Now tell me, Pat, what's that in the window? Sure, it's an arm, Your Honor.
Конечно, это рука, Ваша честь.
Sure, it's an arm, Your Honor. An arm, you stupid.
Рука, ты глупец.
An arm, you stupid. Whoever saw such a big arm?
Кто-нибудь видел такую большую руку?
Whoever saw such a big arm? It fills the whole window.
Он на все окно.
It fills the whole window. Sure, it does, but Your Honor, but still it's an arm.
Конечно так, Ваша честь, но все же это рука.
Sure, it does, but Your Honor, but still it's an arm. Well, it's got no business there, at any rate, go and take it away.
Ну там нет никакого дела, во всяком случае, иди и забери.
Well, it's got no business there, at any rate, go and take it away. There was a long silence after this.
После этого наступило долгое молчание.
There was a long silence after this. And Alice could only hear whispers now and then, such as.
И Алиса слышала только шепот время от времени.
And Alice could only hear whispers now and then, such as. Sure, I don't like it, but Your Honor, at all, at all.
Конечно, мне не нравится, Ваша честь, вообще.
Sure, I don't like it, but Your Honor, at all, at all. Do as I tell you, you coward.
Делай, как я говорю, трус.
Do as I tell you, you coward. And at last she spread out her hand again.
Наконец, она снова развела руками.
And at last she spread out her hand again. And snatched the air once more.
И снова ухватила воздух.
And snatched the air once more. This time there were two shrieks.
На этот раз раздалось два крика.
This time there were two shrieks. And more sounds of broken glass.
И еще больше звуков битого стекла.
And more sounds of broken glass. What a number of cucumber frames they have, thought Alice.
Сколько у них огуречных кадок, подумала Алиса.
What a number of cucumber frames they have, thought Alice. I wonder what they'll do next.
Интересно, что они будут делать дальше.
I wonder what they'll do next. Will they be able to pull me out of the window?
Смогут ли они вытащить меня из окна?
Will they be able to pull me out of the window? I hope they will.
Я надеюсь, что смогут.
I hope they will. I'm sure I don't want to stay here any longer.
Я уверена, что не хочу здесь больше оставаться.
I'm sure I don't want to stay here any longer. She waited for some time.
Некоторое время она ждала.
She waited for some time. Without hearing anything more.
Ничего не слыша.
Without hearing anything more. At last came a sound of little cartwheels.
Наконец раздался звук маленьких колесиков.
At last came a sound of little cartwheels. And the sound of many voices talking all together.
И звук множества голосов, говорящих вместе.
And the sound of many voices talking all together. She made out the words.
Она разобрала слова.
She made out the words. Where's the other ladder?
Где другая лестница?
Where's the other ladder? Here's mine, Bill is bringing the other.
Вот мой, Билл несет другой.
Here's mine, Bill is bringing the other. Bill, bring it here.
Билл, принеси сюда.
Bill, bring it here. Here, put them up at this corner.
Вот, поставь их на угол.
Here, put them up at this corner. No, tie them together first.
Нет, сначала свяжите их вместе.
No, tie them together first. They don't reach high enough.
Они недостаточно высоки.
They don't reach high enough. Oh, they'll do well enough, don't be particular.
Ой, они довольно хороши, не будь привередлив.
Oh, they'll do well enough, don't be particular. Bill, take this rope.
Билл, возьми эту веревку.
Bill, take this rope. Will the roof bear?
Выдержит ли крыша?
Will the roof bear? Mind that, loose slate.
Осторожно с шифером.
Mind that, loose slate. Oh, it's coming down.
Ах, он спускается.
Oh, it's coming down. Heads below, a loud crash.
Склоните головы. Громкий грохот.
Heads below, a loud crash. Well, who did that?
Но кто это сделал?
Well, who did that? It was Bill, I'm sure.
Это был Билл, я уверен.
It was Bill, I'm sure. Who will go down the chimney?
Кто спустится по трубе?
Who will go down the chimney? Not me, you do it.
Не я. Ты спустишься.
Not me, you do it. I won't.
Я не буду.
I won't. Bill will go down.
Билл спустится.
Bill will go down. Bill, you go down the chimney.
Билл, ты спустишься по трубе.
Bill, you go down the chimney. Oh, so Bill is going to came down the chimney.
Ой, так что Билл спустится по трубе.
Oh, so Bill is going to came down the chimney. Said Alice to herself.
Подумала Алиса.
Said Alice to herself. It seems they make Bill do everything.
Кажется, они заставляют Билла делать все.
It seems they make Bill do everything. This fireplace is narrow, but I think I can kick a little.
Этот камин узкий, но кажется, что могу немного пнуть.
This fireplace is narrow, but I think I can kick a little. She drew her foot as far down the chimney as she could.
Она подтянула ногу как можно ниже по трубе.
She drew her foot as far down the chimney as she could. And waited till she heard a little animal.
И подождала, пока не услышит, как маленькое животное.
And waited till she heard a little animal. She couldn't guess what animal it was.
Она не могла догадаться, что это за животное.
She couldn't guess what animal it was. Scratching and scrambling about in the chimney close above her.
Царапает и карабкается в дымовой трубе возле нее.
Scratching and scrambling about in the chimney close above her. Then, saying to herself.
Затем сказав себе.
Then, saying to herself. This is Bill, she gave one sharp kick.
Это Билл, она сделала один сильный удар.
This is Bill, she gave one sharp kick. And waited to see what would happen next.
И подождала, что будет дальше.
And waited to see what would happen next. The first thing she heard was a general chorus of.
Первое, что она услышала, был общий припев.
The first thing she heard was a general chorus of. There goes Bill.
Идет Билл.
There goes Bill. Then the rabbit's voice said.
Затем голос кролика сказал.
Then the rabbit's voice said. Catch him, you, by the hedge.
Лови его, ты преграда.
Catch him, you, by the hedge. Then came silence.
Затем наступила тишина.
Then came silence. And then another confusion of voices.
А затем снова путаница голосов.
And then another confusion of voices. Hold up his head.
Подними голову.
Hold up his head. Give him some brandy.
Дай ему немного бренди.
Give him some brandy. How was it, old fellow? What happened to you?
Как дела, старик? Что с тобой случилось?
How was it, old fellow? What happened to you? Tell us all about it.
Расскажи нам все об этом.
Tell us all about it. Last came a little voice.
Последним раздался тихий голос.
Last came a little voice. That's Bill, thought Alice.
Это Билл, подумала Алиса.
That's Bill, thought Alice. Well, I hardly know, no more, thank you.
Ну, я почти не знаю, больше нет, спасибо.
Well, I hardly know, no more, thank you. I'm better now, it was such a shock.
Мне лучше, это был такой шок.
I'm better now, it was such a shock. All I know is something came at me.
Все, что я знаю, это то, что что-то наткнулось на меня.
All I know is something came at me. And I went up like a skyrocket.
И я взлетел, как небесная ракета.
And I went up like a skyrocket. That's true, old fellow, said the others.
Это правда, старина, сказали другие.
That's true, old fellow, said the others. We must burn the house down, said the rabbit's voice.
Мы должны сжечь дом, сказал голос кролика.
We must burn the house down, said the rabbit's voice. And Alice called out as loud as she could.
И Алиса крикнула как можно громче.
And Alice called out as loud as she could. Don't you dare, or Dinah'll come and get you.
Не смейте, или Дина придет и схватит вас.
Don't you dare, or Dinah'll come and get you. There was a dead silence at once.
Сразу же наступила мертвая тишина.
There was a dead silence at once. And Alice thought to herself.
И Алиса подумала.
And Alice thought to herself. I wonder what they will do next. Take the roof off?
Интересно, что они будут делать дальше. Снимут крышу.
I wonder what they will do next. Take the roof off? After a minute or two, they began moving about again.
Через минуту или две они снова начали двигаться.
After a minute or two, they began moving about again. And Alice heard the rabbit say.
И Алиса услышала, как кролик сказал.
And Alice heard the rabbit say. A barrowful will do, to begin with.
Носилки для начала.
A barrowful will do, to begin with. A barrowful of what, thought Alice.
Что носилки? Подумала Алиса.
A barrowful of what, thought Alice. But she had not long to doubt.
Но она недолго сомневалась.
But she had not long to doubt. The next moment a shower of little stones came rattling in at the window.
В следующий момент в окно посыпался поток маленьких камней.
The next moment a shower of little stones came rattling in at the window. and some of them hit her in the face,
И некоторые из них ударили ей по лицу.
and some of them hit her in the face. I must stop it, she said to herself, and shouted out.
«Я должна остановить это», — сказала она про себя и крикнула.
I must stop it, she said to herself, and shouted out. Don't you dare do that again.
«Не смейте делать это вновь».
Don't you dare do that again. Which produced another dead silence.
Что произвело еще одно мертвое молчание.
Which produced another dead silence. Alice noticed with some surprise.
Алиса с удивлением заметила.
Alice noticed with some surprise that the little stones were all turning into little cakes.
Что маленькие камни превращаются в маленькие пирожные.
That the little stones were all turning into little cakes as they lay on the floor.
Когда они лежат на полу.
As they lay on the floor. And a bright idea came into her head.
И ей пришла яркая идея.
And a bright idea came into her head. I can eat one of these cakes, she thought.
«Я могу съесть один из этих тортов», — подумала она.
I can eat one of these cakes, she thought. It will certainly make some change in my size.
Это, безусловно, внесет некоторые изменения в моем размере.
It will certainly make some change in my size. It can't possibly make me larger.
Это не может сделать меня больше.
It can't possibly make me larger. So it will make me smaller.
Поэтому это сделает меня меньше.
So it will make me smaller. And she ate one of the cakes.
И она съела один из тортов.
And she ate one of the cakes. And was happy to see that she began shrinking at once.
И была рада видеть, что она сразу же начала уменьшаться.
And was happy to see that she began shrinking at once. As soon as she was small enough.
Как только она стала достаточно маленькой.
As soon as she was small enough. To get through the door.
Чтобы пройти через дверь.
To get through the door. She ran out of the house.
Она выбежала из дома.
She ran out of the house. And found quite a crowd of little animals and birds waiting outside.
И увидела толпу маленьких животных и птиц, ожидающих снаружи.
And found quite a crowd of little animals and birds waiting outside. The poor little lizard Bill was in the middle.
Бедный маленький ящер, Билл, был посередине.
The poor little lizard Bill was in the middle. And 2 guinea pigs were giving it something out of a bottle.
И 2 морские свинки что-то разливали из бутылки.
And 2 guinea pigs were giving it something out of a bottle. They all rushed at Alice the moment she appeared.
Они все бросились на Алису, как только она появилась.
They all rushed at Alice the moment she appeared. But she ran off as hard as she could.
Но она убежала изо всех сил.
But she ran off as hard as she could. And soon found herself safe in a thick forest.
И вскоре оказалась в безопасности в густом лесу.
And soon found herself safe in a thick forest. The first thing, said Alice to herself, wandering through the wood.
Первое, подумала Алиса, бродя по лесу.
The first thing, said Alice to herself, wandering through the wood, is to grow to my right size again.
Это снова вырасти до нужного размера.
Is to grow to my right size again. And the second thing is to find my way into that lovely garden.
И второе, найти путь в этот прекрасный сад.
And the second thing is to find my way into that lovely garden. I think that is the best plan.
Я думаю, что это лучший план.
I think that is the best plan. It was a great plan, no doubt.
Это был отличный план, без сомнения.
It was a great plan, no doubt. The only difficulty was.
Единственная трудность заключалась в том.
The only difficulty was. That she had not the smallest idea how to set about it.
Что она не имела ни малейшего представления, как с этим справиться.
that she had not the smallest idea how to set about it. And while she was walking among the trees,
И пока она гуляла среди деревьев,
and while she was walking among the trees, a little sharp bark just over her head made her look up in a great hurry.
тихий резкий лай над головой заставил ее оглянуться в спешке.
A little sharp bark just over her head made her look up in a great hurry. A very big puppy was looking down at her with large round eyes.
Очень большой щенок смотрел на нее большими круглыми глазами.
A very big puppy was looking down at her with large round eyes, and timidly stretching out one paw, trying to touch her.
И робко вытягивал лапку, пытаясь дотронуться до нее.
And timidly stretching out one paw, trying to touch her. Poor puppy, said Alice, in a coaxing tone.
«Бедный щенок», — сказала Алиса задабривающим тоном.
Poor puppy, said Alice, in a coaxing tone. And she tried hard to whistle to it.
И она изо всех сил пыталась свистнуть.
And she tried hard to whistle to it. But she was terribly afraid.
Но она ужасно боялась.
But she was terribly afraid. It may be hungry, she thought.
«Он должно быть голодный», — подумала она.
It may be hungry, she thought. And in that case it will eat me up in a moment.
И в таком случае он съест меня мгновенно.
And in that case it will eat me up in a moment. Hardly knowing what she was doing.
Едва понимая, что делает.
Hardly knowing what she was doing. She picked up a little stick and offered it to the puppy.
Она взяла маленькую палочку и предложила ее щенку.
She picked up a little stick and offered it to the puppy. The puppy happily jumped into the air.
Щенок радостно прыгнул в воздух.
The puppy happily jumped into the air and rushed at the stick and pretended to attack it.
Бросился на палку и сделал вид, что напал на нее.
And rushed at the stick and pretended to attack it. Alice quickly stepped behind a great thistle.
Алиса быстро встала позади большого чертополоха.
Alice quickly stepped behind a great thistle. And that was the only reason.
И это была единственная причина.
And that was the only reason why the puppy didn't run over her.
По которой щенок не перебежал над ней.
Why the puppy didn't run over her. The moment she appeared on the other side.
В тот момент, когда она появилась на другой стороне.
The moment she appeared on the other side. The puppy rushed at the stick again, and tumbled head over heels in its hurry.
Щенок снова бросился на палку и поспешно упал кувырком.
The puppy rushed at the stick again, and tumbled head over heels in its hurry. Then Alice, thinking it was very like playing with a cart horse.
Затем Алиса, думая, что это очень похоже на игру с телегой.
Then Alice, thinking it was very like playing with a cart horse. And expecting every moment to find herself under its feet.
И ожидая каждый момент, что окажется под ногами.
And expecting every moment to find herself under its feet. Ran round a thistle again.
Снова побежала вокруг чертополоха.
Ran round a thistle again. The puppy kept attacking the stick.
Щенок продолжал атаковать палку.
The puppy kept attacking the stick. Running a very little way forwards each time and a long way back.
Каждый раз бегая очень далеко вперед и далеко назад.
Running a very little way forwards each time and a long way back. And barking hoarsely all the time.
И все время хрипло лая.
And barking hoarsely all the time. At last it sat down, panting.
Наконец он сел, тяжело дыша.
At last it sat down, panting. With its tongue hanging out of its mouth.
Высунув язык изо рта.
With its tongue hanging out of its mouth. And its great eyes half shut.
И его большие глаза были полузакрыты.
And its great eyes half shut. This seemed to Alice a good opportunity for making her escape.
Это показалось Алисе хорошей возможностью сбежать.
This seemed to Alice a good opportunity for making her escape. So she set off at once, and ran till she was quite tired and out of breath.
Поэтому она сразу же сбежала, пока не устала и не запыхалась.
So she set off at once, and ran till she was quite tired and out of breath. Until the puppy's bark sounded quite faint in the distance.
И до тех пор, пока лай щенка не стал совсем слабым.
Until the puppy's bark sounded quite faint in the distance. What a nice little puppy it was, said Alice.
Какой милый маленький щенок, сказала Алиса.
What a nice little puppy it was, said Alice. As she leant against a flower to have some rest.
Прислонившись к цветку, чтобы немного отдохнуть.
As she leant against a flower to have some rest. And fanned herself with one of the leaves.
И обмахнулась одним из листьев.
And fanned herself with one of the leaves. What a pity I'm not the right size. Oh.
Как жаль, что я не подходящего размера. Ах.
What a pity I'm not the right size. Oh. I have to grow up again.
Я должна снова повзрослеть.
I have to grow up again. Let me see, how can I do it?
Дайте-ка подумать, как могу я это сделать.
Let me see, how can I do it? I think I must eat or drink something.
Я думаю, что я должна съесть или выпить что-то.
I think I must eat or drink something. But the great question is what?
Но главный вопрос в том, что...
But the great question is what? Alice looked all round her at the grass and flowers.
Алиса огляделась вокруг на травы и цветы.
Alice looked all round her at the grass and flowers. But she did not see anything that looked like the right thing to eat or drink.
Но не увидела ничего похожего на еду или питье.
But she did not see anything that looked like the right thing to eat or drink. There was a large mushroom growing near her.
Рядом с ней рос большой гриб.
There was a large mushroom growing near her. About the same height as herself.
Примерно того же роста, что и она.
About the same height as herself. And she looked under it, and on both sides of it.
И она посмотрела под ним, и по обе стороны от него.
And she looked under it, and on both sides of it. And behind it, and stretched herself up on tiptoe.
И за ним, и вытянулась на цыпочках.
And behind it, and stretched herself up on tiptoe. And looked over the edge of the mushroom.
И посмотрела через край гриба.
And looked over the edge of the mushroom. And she immediately saw a large caterpillar.
И она сразу же увидела большую гусеницу.
And she immediately saw a large caterpillar. That was sitting on the top with its arms folded.
Которая сидела наверху со скрещенными руками.
That was sitting on the top with its arms folded. Quietly smoking a long hookah.
Тихо куря длинный кальян.
Quietly smoking a long hookah. And not noticing Alice or anything else.
И не замечая Алису или что-то еще.
And not noticing Alice or anything else.